Take your children abroad. Go back to your homeland, Gambia. But she refused. They are Chinese. They have Chinese household registration, Chinese ID cards, and Chinese passports. They are Chinese citizens. As long as they want to, they can stay in China forever. That is their right. These words were spoken by an African mother who had married and built a life in China, responding to online criticism. Awa, originally from Gambia, a small country in Africa, moved to China after marrying her Chinese husband. The couple settled in Zhenping County, Henan Province. Today, they are raising 2 mixed-race sons, living a stable and comfortable life as a family of 4. In October 2022, Awa started sharing glimpses of her life online. Her story quickly captured public attention. However, with the admiration came criticism. She faced harsh comments, insults, and even personal attacks. Some netizens demanded that Awa and her children go back to Africa, arguing that her sons were not of pure Chinese blood. Others took it further, launching direct attacks on her family. But Awa stood her ground. Today, we bring you the story of a cross-border love that defied prejudice, the journey of Awa and her husband, Meng Ge, a Chinese man who followed his heart despite societal expectations. Meng Ge was born and raised in Zhenping County, Nanyang City, Henan Province. He grew up in a well-off family with kind and humble parents. From a young age, he excelled in his studies, earning a place at a prestigious university where he majored in English. Even before graduating, he had already set his sights on going abroad, not just to explore the world, but also to create a better future for his family. Thanks to his diligence and natural talent for languages, Meng Ge quickly mastered English. By the time he was about to graduate, he was fluent in all 4 skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. With his strong abilities, finding a good job was never a concern. As graduation approached, he received 2 job offers from reputable companies. One position was in China, stable, with a good work environment and close to home. The salary was about 10,000 yuan per month, a respectable income at the time. The other offer was in Gambia, Africa. The conditions were tougher, the work environment more challenging, but the job offered higher pay, international exposure, and greater opportunities for future growth. Most people would have chosen the safer path, staying in China. But Meng Ge chose differently. He chose Africa. To him, youth was meant for adventure and challenges. If he didn't take risks now, he knew he would regret it when he grew old. Despite his parents' objections, Meng Ge made a bold decision. He would go to Gambia alone to work as a translator. Gambia, a small West African country bordering the Atlantic Ocean, spans just 11,295 square kilometers and has a population of about 2.4 million. English is its official language, and it is the smallest nation on the African continent. Although its economy was still developing, that also meant vast growth potential. Over the past 2 decades, more and more Chinese businesses had expanded into Gambia, investing in trade and infrastructure. To thrive in this environment, these companies needed skilled translators, professionals who could bridge the language and cultural gaps in international business. And that was precisely Meng Ge's role. As a translator, he frequently attended high-level business meetings and important events alongside corporate executives, allowing him to connect with people from all over the world. One of those people was Awa. In 2017, at a lively party, a friend introduced Meng Ge to Awa, a strikingly beautiful Gambian woman who had just turned 20. Awa was a professional model. Her deep, sun-kissed complexion radiated elegance. But what truly set her apart was her bold, fashion-forward style and undeniable presence. She carried herself with the confidence and charisma of a modern woman, shattering the conventional image many had of African women. Intrigued, Meng Ge approached her and struck up a conversation in English. To his delight, she responded warmly. They exchanged contact information before parting ways that evening. At the time, Meng Ge was at an age where his parents were pressuring him to return to China and settle down. They had arranged several blind dates for him, urging him to find a wife. But after meeting Awa, something shifted. His heart told him to take a chance. He decided to pursue her. Meng Ge took the initiative, sending Awa messages, asking about her interests and daily life, and finding every excuse to invite her out. Awa was intrigued by him. She admired how effortlessly fluent his English was, an uncommon skill among the Chinese expats she had met. As a model, she often participated in fashion shows and commercial shoots. Every time she had an event, Meng Ge made sure to be there, cheering her on from the sidelines. During that time, his mind was constantly preoccupied with thoughts of Awa. As soon as work ended, he would rush to see her. His colleagues, noticing his distracted demeanor, assumed he was homesick. As their bond grew stronger, whispers began to spread. People speculated that they were more than just friends. And then, the rumors reached Awa. One day, Meng Ge finally decided to take a leap of faith. He wasn't sure if Awa felt the same way, but his heart wouldn't let him hold back any longer. He had to confess. What he didn't expect was her immediate response. "I've been waiting for you to say that," Awa said with a teasing smile. "If you had taken any longer, I would have given up on you." Meng Ge was overwhelmed with joy. He had never imagined that, in a land so far from home, he would meet someone who felt like destiny. And just like that, their love story began. It didn't take long for news of their relationship to spread among their friends. Everyone congratulated them, saying they were a perfect match, beauty and talent combined. But soon, word reached Awa's parents. Awa came from a well-off middle-class family in Gambia. Her parents had worked tirelessly to support her modeling career, helping her rise above many of her peers. To them, she was their most precious gem, one to be carefully protected. After a month of dating, Awa decided it was time to have a serious conversation with her parents about her relationship with a Chinese man. Her father was supportive. Her mother, however, hesitated. She wasn't comfortable with the idea of her daughter marrying someone from a distant country like China. But Awa was determined. She believed Meng Ge was a rare kind of man, someone who not only loved her, but was also kind, responsible, and deeply respectful. In her eyes, he was the most outstanding man she had ever met. To ease her parents' concerns, Meng Ge decided to visit Awa's family in person, bringing thoughtful gifts as a sign of respect. When her mother finally met him, her initial doubts began to soften. He assured Awa's parents that he would always cherish and protect their daughter. What's more, he reassured them that he wasn't planning to leave for China immediately. He would continue working in Gambia for the foreseeable future. After gaining Awa's parents' trust, it was time for Meng Ge to break the news to his own family in China. He called home. "Mom, I have a girlfriend." His mother's voice lit up with excitement. "Really? That's wonderful. Where is she from? Do you have a picture?" She assumed he had reconnected with an old classmate or met someone from their hometown, but she was in for a surprise. "She's from Gambia, in Africa. She's beautiful, a model." A long silence followed. Then, his father's voice broke through, sharp and disbelieving. "Africa? What did you just say?" His father, who had been listening in the background, could no longer contain himself. Meng Ge patiently explained his love story with Awa, making it clear that he was serious about marrying her. But his father's response was anything but supportive. "And what do you think people will say?" he demanded. "Marrying an African woman? Do you want to be the laughingstock of the town?" His mother, equally unsettled, chimed in. You graduated from a top university. You have a stable job. Are you telling me you couldn't find anyone better than a black model from Africa? Even if she were a princess, I still wouldn't agree. They bombarded him with arguments, hoping to dissuade him. But Meng Ge wasn't about to change his mind. But Meng Ge was a grown man. He had his own thoughts, his own decisions. To him, Awa wasn't just beautiful. She was open-minded, gentle, caring, intelligent, and incredibly capable. How could he let something as superficial as skin color stand in the way of love? With unwavering determination, Meng Ge told his parents, I will marry Awa. Nothing and no one can stop me. His parents knew their son well. Once he made up his mind, there was no changing it. In the end, they had no choice but to accept his decision. In 2018, Meng Ge and Awa decided to get married in Gambia. He informed his parents in advance. Though they still had lingering doubts, they gave him their blessing. After all, this was his life to live. Due to the long distance, his parents couldn't attend the wedding. Instead, his Chinese friends and colleagues stood by his side, offering their warmest congratulations to the couple embarking on this cross-cultural journey of love. Awa's family, on the other hand, was overjoyed. To them, their daughter marrying a Chinese man was something to be proud of, especially a man like Meng Ge. Not only was he well-educated, but he was also a translator for a prestigious Chinese company. Whenever the topic came up, Awa's family was met with admiration from those around them. The wedding was a grand celebration, held in accordance with Gambian traditions. Meng Ge wanted nothing but the best for Awa. He made sure she had the most beautiful wedding possible, dressing her in a stunning gown as she walked down the aisle, the most radiant bride of all. After the wedding, due to work commitments, the couple continued living in Gambia. Meng Ge bought a spacious, comfortable home, ensuring Awa had everything she needed for a good life. Their love flourished, and before long, Awa became pregnant. To ensure his wife received the best care, Meng Ge invited his mother-in-law to move in with them. Then, in August 2019, Awa gave birth to a healthy baby boy. Life carried on. Awa gradually shifted her focus to raising their child, while Meng Ge worked tirelessly to provide for his family. At the start of 2021, their happiness grew even further. Awa gave birth to their second son. Back in China, Meng Ge's parents longed to meet their grandchildren. Now that they had two grandsons but had never seen them in person, their eagerness grew stronger. Meng Ge promised his parents that he would bring his family to China soon. He, too, had started considering returning home to further his career. But then, the world changed. The COVID-19 pandemic struck, making travel nearly impossible. Plans were postponed again and again. Finally, by March 2021, the situation began to ease. Determined to keep his promise, Meng Ge decided to take his eldest son back to China first, while Awa and their younger son remained in Gambia for the time being. For the first time ever, his parents in China laid eyes on their grandson, and in that moment, all the years of waiting felt worth it. Meng Ge's parents were overjoyed. Their grandson had finally come home. Though his skin was a shade darker than theirs, it didn't matter in the slightest. Their love for him was boundless. Excitedly, they called their relatives to share the good news. Our grandson is here! And his mother. She's a stunning model. Meanwhile, Meng Ge reassured his parents. Mom, Dad, I'll be heading back to Gambia soon to bring our younger son home. After that, I'll bring Awa and the kids to meet you both. Really? That's wonderful, they responded in unison. 3 months later, Meng Ge returned to Gambia. He began the process of securing exit permits for Awa and their younger son. Everything was ready. All that remained was their flight. Since there were no direct flights, they had to transit through Thailand. In September, after bidding farewell to Awa's family in Gambia, the three of them set off for China. But they never expected the journey to be so difficult. Due to unforeseen travel restrictions, they found themselves stuck in Thailand for 6 long months. It wasn't until February 2022 that they were finally able to board a flight from Bangkok to Guangzhou. After more than 100 grueling days of uncertainty and hardship, Meng Ge's family was finally reunited. During that time, his eldest son, who had been staying with his grandparents, had learned to speak the Henan dialect. But after months apart, the little boy was shy and hesitant, unsure of how to react when he saw his parents again. Then came the long-awaited moment, Awa's first meeting with her in-laws. The atmosphere was warm and emotional. They exchanged gifts, embraced tightly, and for the first time, they truly felt like family. "Mom, Dad, I will be a good daughter-in-law. I will take care of you and be respectful," Awa said in Chinese, her words not yet fluent but full of sincerity. From the moment she fell in love with Meng Ge, she had been dedicated to learning Chinese. Seeing her effort and kindness, Meng Ge's parents softened even more. They no longer wanted her to dwell on their past objections. "From now on, we are family. We only hope that you and Meng Ge will always be happy," his mother said, her voice filled with emotion. Awa quickly bonded with her in-laws, and they embraced her as their own daughter. She was a devoted wife and daughter-in-law, eager to learn traditional Chinese dishes from her mother-in-law and always willing to help around the house. Whenever his mother spoke about Awa, it was with pride. "My daughter-in-law is not only beautiful but incredibly capable," she would tell her friends. Finding her place in China. Awa's cheerful and open-hearted personality helped her adapt quickly. Before long, she had made many friends in China, earning the affection of those around her. But not everyone welcomed her with open arms. Some people refused to accept her simply because she was African. And when Awa started posting short videos on social media, the criticism grew even louder. Some mocked her dark skin. Others condemned her for marrying a Chinese man and having mixed-race children. They accused her of tainting Chinese blood. Worst of all, some went as far as attacking her children, demanding that she take them back to Africa and leave China altogether. Awa's bold response. But Awa refused to be intimidated. She responded with confidence and clarity. "My son has a Chinese passport, a Chinese ID card, a Chinese household registration. He is a legal citizen of China. As long as he chooses to, he has every right to live here." Her words were powerful. She would not let prejudice dictate her family's future. This past April, Awa recorded a special video. She turned to her eldest son and asked, "Some people say you're African. So, where are you from?" The little boy, innocent and confident, responded without hesitation. "I'm Chinese. I'm not African. I have my household registration. I'm from Zhenping, China." Despite the outside chatter, their family's happiness remained untouched. For them, nothing mattered more than cherishing each day together in China. Awa has now been living in China for over a year. She is fully adjusted to her new home, and her Mandarin has improved significantly. At 26, even as a mother of 2, she has maintained her slender figure, and her striking presence as a model remains unchanged. No matter what she wears, she carries herself with effortless style and grace. For now, family remains her top priority. She devotes much of her time to caring for her children while also documenting their everyday moments through her videos. What do you think? So what are your thoughts on Awa and Meng Ge's cross-cultural love story? Share your opinions in the comments below.